speaker number 3 introduces a young lady who just started her own internet radio station. Lisa Phillips with cryfreedomradio.com.
Rob, young, yeah, right, okay, thanks for that. Right, you know when you agree to do something and then you actually have to do it and you think, oh my god. But anyway, right, good evening, and I'd like to say a big massive thank you to Rob for letting me do this tonight. I won't keep you long, I promise. It's a bit different to doing a radio show, this I have to say, because I can see you all and it's a bit scary. I was told not to view people as a collective, but as a group of one persons. And if that doesn't work, I've got to think of you all naked on the toilet apparently, but I'll give that one a miss again. Anyway. Right, anyway, I thought it was about time we had a little bit of female energy on the mic here at St Anne's. Ladies, do you reckon? Because we do get, no offence against the guys, but you know, we don't get many ladies up here, so I thought I'll do my bit. Anyway, joking apart, I just wanted to take this opportunity, with it being Newbies Night, to actually introduce my new venture. It has kept me out of mischief for the last couple of months, mostly anyway. Basically, I was doing a radio show for a local station for 1.5 years, the Cry Freedom Show, and it did come to the point where it was time to move on. And I did have a vision of actually creating my own station that would be as much about the actual website being a sort of a people hub as much as it was about the broadcast themselves. So I wanted it to be a place where people would know to go to if they want to see what's going on in the local activist world or progressive world, shall we say. Just to give you a little bit of background information on me, I've been fully aware of the true reality of things for a number of years now. Well, we think it's true reality, but who knows? Because it is all a bit confusing. But I was a bit of an oddball growing up because my parents were very different to the mould, because they were socialist, atheist, anti-royalist, and I do know now that these are all constructs too, but you can probably imagine that a lot of my school years were hard because, you know, it's like when you're different, and you know what kids are like when you are different. So my brothers and I were very, very shy anyway to start with, so we didn't really mix with a lot of people outside the intermediate family, so that made it even harder. But I'm actually grateful now because it really put me on the right road, and I do thank my mum and dad for what they did in that respect. My real rabbit holes actually only started to open back in 2006, and I think with most of us it's always one incident, quite often a traumatic or upsetting one, that does actually start off the whole process and it gets you thinking outside the box. And I was actually awake before all this, but in the last 3 years I've had a lot of things happening which have been my nemesis. I lost my dad, who I was very close to, and I've lost my mum to all intent and purpose as well because of what she's reduced to now. I lost my job, my house was repossessed after 16 years, I lost my husband, and lots of other stuff, so it's been a bit of an emotional roller coaster. And I'm not looking for sympathy because we all have crosses to bear, we all go through stuff. And although it does seem like a nightmare at the actual time, it does actually take us all to a stronger place. So I don't have any regrets because I think every experience that we do have is very important for our character and for our progression as a person. And I have to say, with me anyway, now I think on, there's always something or someone or something that happens when you go through these bad times, usually that there'll be something that takes it away from you and makes things better, kind of gives you hope and inspiration again. And I think we all have to realise this and be very grateful for it because it does make a difference. And this is what we do as people, I think. We're there for each other. And this is why it's so important to think and to be very aware of how a kind word and a look or a joke or a loving touch can make so much difference to someone going through a bad time. The power of humanity, right? So getting back to what I was saying, basically for me, 2006, for me it was my dog going through a lot of pain and dying of cancer that really started it for me. And it got me looking on stuff, it got me reading up about the lack of nutrition in processed pet foods and about the whole over-vaccination issue with vets and pets. And it kind of opened up, I suppose, that kind of worms that got me looking at a lot more. And I think that's, again, is how we all start off on this trip. And I think then, once we start, we do go down a very similar path. So the first major thing I did in an active way was actually to start helping a guy who some of you will have heard of called Kevin Annett. And he is a defrocked priest out in Canada who was actually thrown out of the church because he was highlighting the dreadful plight of the Native Americans at the hands of the religious sectors and the residential schools out there. And I've always felt a very deep respect for Indigenous people anyway. I just kind of felt this instinctively, and the way that they used to live before white man came along and civilized them. Yeah? Okay. You'll find that later on. Anyway, I watched a film that Kevin put together called Unrepentant, and it was very shocking. So after watching that, I just felt compelled, and I just felt I had to do something. So it was weird because when I first contacted Kevin, I got in touch by email and I was still very raw in all of this. When you first start doing it, you kind of think, I was expecting black helicopters to suddenly come over, flying over the house, the instant to send the email off. It was just the way that you feel at the time. But of course, I don't feel like that now. I mean, to coin a phrase, I don't give a rat's ass what they do anymore. And I started off this station and I saw City of London on my location globe on the station the other night, and that was actually made up. I thought, great, I'm doing something right. So you stay there, guys. So I helped Kevin for a while doing voiceovers for audios and doing a lot of social media and publicity and stuff for him. And that actually led to me coming into contact with the radio station that I started broadcasting from. And I suppose the rest is kind of history, really. So, but if you told me 5 years ago that I would actually do a weekly show against the system, well, there's no way I would ever have believed that. And I think, like so many of us, once you know this stuff, you do feel completely and totally obligated to do something to try to enlighten other people. And I think it starts off as a sort of an awful anger at how easily we've all been duped, we've all felt that, and then it turns into an absolute need to be proactive and do something, anything, to try to get people to open their eyes and see what really does become so obvious once you know. And you do find as well, it's very hard to maintain old friendships with people once you go down this path, because they just don't get what you're talking about. And I know for a fact that a few of the friends that I had from school that I do keep in touch with occasionally on Facebook think I've totally lost it. I think I've gone completely loop-the-loop. They think I'm suffering from some sort of paranoid depression. It's the same old thing. It's whenever you go down this path, people that just don't get it kind of just think you've gone mad. But anyway, this is why we need each other to keep strong. So, admittedly, I have been torn a bit over recent years between whether to make people aware of what some of the other hosts at the last station used to call fear porn, or whether to concentrate more on the finding of our true selves from the inside kind of aspect. Emanating out to lead by example with our own energy, which in turn, and I truly really do believe this, that we can affect other people's energy so easily with what we do and what we give out. Because to me, that's what it's all about. Excuse me reading from these notes, by the way, but I have to write everything down, otherwise I just wouldn't remember it. So I would just like to mention social media at this point, because I know many people berate and condemn Facebook and Twitter as nothing but a corporate tool of control. And I do get that in many ways, because they are, but I do believe that we can use their tools to our own ends, and we can flood them with our positive and powerful energy. And again, I really do feel that strongly. And over the last year or so, I've actually met some amazing people on Facebook and from all around the world that have helped actually raise my spirit in many ways and got me through some rough times. And I think I've helped some of them too with the same situation. So I suppose it's like a crutch in a way. And because this is what we do for each other, I think we help each other with loving and positive energy, because we've all been in that pit, we've all felt the loneliness and the ostracising. And the whole Facebook thing, it may sound airy-fairy to some, but I totally stand by it, and this is one of the reasons for the radio station, because I just want to promote unique, sensitive, wonderful people, humanity. I want to support people, again, because if we can do this for each other, and if people are just waking up and they can go somewhere where they feel that they're not alone, I think that's very important. Just to give you some examples, there's one young lad that I chat to in Canada who's just 24, and he's so leading this on Facebook. He's so leading by example to his peers because he's got incredible insight, and he's actually changing himself from the inside with what he eats. He's growing his own food, and he's even camping out in his parents' back garden because he wants to be closer to nature. And he's actually been very supportive to the station, and he's been sending me ideas and things, and I'm trying to persuade him to come on a show and speak his truth, but he's a bit shy. And I've also got a guy that I chat to, a retired guy out in Australia, and he's packed in his false life, he's sold up everything, and he actually now lives with a rescue dog on a yacht in a beautiful bay out in Australia somewhere. And he says he doesn't concentrate on the past or the future, and he very much lives in the now and being close to nature. And he told me that he doesn't even own a pair of shoes. And I had a Skype talk with him about a week ago for the first time, and he had me in stitches because I asked him if he had any other boats near to him, and he said, not too near, because he scared them all off with the naked dancing around the boat in the morning. Complete and utter character. And I was actually talking to him on Skype, and he had his camera on. He was actually lying down on a bunk, and he said, I haven't got any clothes on, but I won't get up, don't worry. I'm like, oh my God, for that. But anyway, complete character. I don't think I need to convince him to come on the show. I think he'll be pretty much up for it. And these are the sort of the people, I think, who are the hope for the future for all of us on this beautiful planet. And these are the ones that I want to focus Cry Freedom Radio on. Beautiful, compassionate, feeling people who get it. And of course, there is another side to Facebook. And I had a debate with someone else a few days ago And this is another reason why I personally believe it's a very useful tool, because it does aid open, valuable discussion that provokes others to actually join in and see what you're talking about. And this was on the subject of something that's being talked about, I think, quite a lot at the moment, and this is these dreaded spikes that are being put everywhere by the so-called powers to deter homeless people from sleeping in sheltered spaces around towns and public areas. And I came across an article that someone posted saying that activists had concreted over some of these spikes in the middle of the night. And I've got to say, my reaction was, this is fantastic, well done. So I reposted this article on my Facebook wall with a love it comment. And the next thing was, this guy comes on and leaves this comment beneath it saying he completely disagreed with me because he said what the homeless do in these areas is just sheer vandalism of private property. So, okay, no doubt there are homeless people that do cause malicious damage to property, but there are also many who just want somewhere slightly less cold and wet to lay down their heads. So this was like a red rag to a bull to me, or maybe I should say to a ram, being a red-blooded Aries. So I let loose with both barrels, I have to say, but in a dignified way, and I told him about how it's the greed and corruption of the powers in control that has caused this problem in the first place, and about how, just like our so-called health profession, this is attacking the end problem. It's surely about, you know, it's attacking the end problem with our money rather than actually addressing what is causing this issue in the first place. And it's about, and to me this is so logical, but anyone could see this a mile off, surely it would be far more productive to spend our money actually doing something to help these poor people rather than constructing man-made spikes to deter them. And again, it's all part of the desensitising, the dehumanising of us all. And finally, it's about, at the end of the day, if this current system does not improve, we may all be looking for sheltered corners to sleep in. And let's face it, the next step will be to ship all these people off to concentration camps or something similar, and after that, they'll be after us. So it's all a step-by-step test and process, I think, to see how much we will put up with, how much we will allow to happen, while we turn a blind eye and just carry on watching all the construct programming shite that they turn out day after day after day on the old control box. Anyway, in the end, I think this guy actually just gave up on Facebook and he ended up liking my last comment. So I just feel that Facebook is a necessary and vital tool to allow people to see these kind of discussions and from this get a better understanding of what is actually being done to us, because you know, it's obvious, it's in plain sight, we see it now so clearly, but so many still don't. So if we can in any way and use whatever tool to actually get them to realise this. So I do realise very much that we do still have a battle on our hands, of course we do, and it's a battle for our very existence as living sentient beings, which is why I want to use this station and very much the website for passing on and collecting information on everything that matters and everything that takes us in the right direction, and it's on local and not so local organisations and groups that are trying to change and make real positive change in communities. And this is groups like the Dignity Alliance, the People's Mandate, and after seeing Rob B's presentation here on the Dignity Alliance, I'm going to their first conference back in May, and I know others of you were there too. I will be interviewing Rob for the show, and I've also given them a specific page on Cry Freedom Radio as well. And there's also a New Horizons page, which I'm promoting what you guys do here. It's highlighting the wonderful stuff that you're facilitating, and a huge pat on the back to Chris and Rob and everyone else involved, because you really are leading by example, so well done. And I've also got pages for people like our Paul, who's just been talking, that, you know, again, leading by example, growing their own food and all this kind of thing. So this is what I want it to be. So in essence, I want the whole thing, broadcasting and websites, to act as a community hub for local and further afield initiatives that are attempting to make the changes necessary in our communities. And we all know our communities are being very much torn to shreds, it's so obvious. So I want it to be a recognised place, as I say, where people know to go for information. And I'm doing this pretty much alone at the moment, but I will do my utmost to achieve this goal, because this is the only way that we will actually get our power back, by all working together. Not as separate groups or on a different road, but by uniting all issues in one big pot and doing it as one big team. I also want to have a kind of advice page on how to fight back against the system and sort of say no. And it was a conversation again I had with someone on Facebook that actually prompted this. A friend was saying that he'd not been paying his TV licence, and it was all fine until one Saturday afternoon he actually got distracted because he was watching the football. Oh, and by the way, I was probably the only person in the whole of the UK that didn't know England were playing last Saturday. I felt quite proud of that, actually. But there you go. But anyway, this guy said that because he was distracted, he opened the door, and without thinking, he was confronted by this official regarding his non-payment of his licence, and because he wasn't expecting it, he actually did give his given name, which of course was tantamount to giving them consent to throw the book at him, and he now does actually have to face a court appearance. So I felt if we can kind of highlight in one known place the ways, firstly to say a massive no to his whole charade by not paying certain things, but then also to point out the pitfalls and make sure that people realise, you know, that the best way to go once they start doing it. So I'm building it all up slowly, and I will say, if any of you sort of listening tonight feel that you have any relevant information that you would like to be included on the website, then please just let me know. I will wrap it up now, but at the moment the station is playing 24/7 loop of essential information for those waking up, and I've tried to compile some of the best awareness videos that I can, including some from here. There's also lots of music thrown in and stuff, and I know there's lots of internet stations out there at the moment that seem to be more geared to people like us who are actually awake and aware, but I don't feel there's that many really at the moment for people that are starting off afresh, and that's where I feel we need to go, because I'll never give up on the masses. That's why I'm doing this. So on top of all of this, I will be starting a once-a-week live show on Thursday nights from 8 till 10 in the next month or so. And I will be doing a lot of door-to-door distributing of flyers. I've just given them out everywhere at the moment. Taxi drivers everywhere, you know, they're just... you'd be amazed how many taxi drivers actually get it. And I keep saying this, but I keep talking to these guys and they actually know what's going on. And I'm thinking, well, right, you've got all these people coming in your car, I'm going to start leaving all my flyers with you guys. You're on them out for me. So I've left, there are flyers on seats at the moment, and if anybody feels they might have the opportunity to give more out to people, then please come see me, because I've got a load more. Because again, I think this is what we've got to do. We've all got to join together and spread the word. And that's why I'm doing this, purely for the reason of spreading the word. I'm not asking for money or anything else, and it is a labour of love, and it's love for all of us. So I would ask you here just to join me and, you know, build upon the amazing job that you guys are already doing here. And if this is a way that we can publicise it further, then fantastic. So, to finish this point, I would just like to give a quite quick shout out to someone who does an amazing job here behind the scenes and doesn't always get recognised. And we don't do it for that, I know. You know, I really do know we don't do it for that reason, but it's still nice to get acknowledgement. And it is an essential part of the whole process, the videoing and publicising of the information and presentation, so this stuff can get further afield out to many, many more people. So, big thanks to Alex for his very professional, tireless and relentless work getting the information you guys put out there, so well done. So that's me done, but I just want to read out now, and Alex is going to groan now, a poem that I wrote last week. And when I sit in the sun, I get these kind of inspired moments, or, well, maybe they're inspired moments. And I wrote a poem, so I just wanted to finish off by reading that, and it's called New Day. And my mouth's gone so dry. I sit in a chair as the sun starts to warm. I sit here quite happy as a new day does form. I see the webs of spiders glistening in the sun, a sign of their work, of the job they have done. I hear the sounds as people leave for work, and I know that I'm lucky that this is a perk. And I do feel grateful for this, for my little moment of absolute bliss. For I feel as happy as the birds who do sing, happy for this nature and the joy it doth bring. A bee flies right past me, buzzing away, happily gathering as it starts its own day. As the sunlight gets stronger, I feel its deep heat from the top of my head to the ground at my feet. And I feel its power, I feel what it gives. It shines in the heavens and everything lives. I gaze around the garden from the place where I sit, and I know this is special. I feel this is it. This is all we need to feel good. I wish more could see that. I wish that they would. Nothing is more special than these gifts that are free, the things there for us, for you and for me. Life is so beautiful, it's simple things we need, not things that we work for, spill tears, sweat and bleed. And when we all see this, that we are being used, we'll realise the wrongness of us being abused. And mankind will get there, of that I am sure. So let's start the change. Let's open the door. Thank you.